What is going on, guys? We are back, and I have been working my butt off camera, upgrading a bunch of stuff around the base. Funny thing is, most of it is stuff that I upgraded on camera the other day, and the reason I don't want to show it again is because you guys would probably be bored out of your minds, but I do want to do a quick overview, and since yesterday's episode was a little bit longer, today's is going to be a little bit shorter, and we're not really going to be building per se. It's just going to be going over a lot of the upgrades that I did and showing you guys around all the new stuff in the base. So I guess we can start by going up and, let me out. I need to make that into an elevator. That's an upgrade that I've been slacking on. If we come out here, you can see that our solar evaporation plant is much mightier than before. And if we come up here, let me slap a block down so we can stand. If we look right here, we have it at height 18, finally. I had just enough blocks to get it to height 18. It took forever to collect enough steel and mainly copper, but we got it there. Multiplier is still 0.9, so eventually we'll get a desert biome and get that to 2, but the max temperature is 20, I think that's 20k Kelvin. I don't know if that's supposed to be Kelvin, but I would assume that that's what it stands for. And we still are getting enough water in here without even putting any upgrades into our transfer nodes, and we're generating a good amount of brine, but we could be generating more, so I will be looking for that desert biome. I'll ask around on the server and see if any of the guys know if there is one around here. I know that I think Blizz did a good amount of exploring in the general area, but as for the solar evaporation plant, we will not need to change this or upgrade it at all, other than obviously painting the biome. But blocks, or by the blocks themselves, those don't need to be changed. Those are perfectly fine, as good as they're going to get. Oh yeah, and I also forgot, I added 4 more advanced solar generators, and we're still not gaining power. I'm assuming there's something weird going on because a lot of these cables will store internal power, and so what I suspect is happening is that a lot of the cables down here that are running along the bottom are just storing a bunch of internal power that's not being used right away. So we're not actually gaining power in the ultimate energy cube, but it has gained power before when certain machines are disconnected. So I suspect it's a lot of our electrolytic separators burning through the energy too. But, you know, next time I'll throw I'll go on like a solar generator spree and make like 12 advanced solar generators, and if that doesn't get us enough power, then we're having an issue. Because for the most part, these machines stay at full power. There's no power going into here. So it's a little weird. But the next thing I want to talk about is this corner of the room. And this is basically where I've been doing all my work. So for the most part, all the machines are the same over here, but I noticed that this machine gets stopped a lot, and it still does. Oh, this machine actually is not gaining power. That's interesting. Okay, so is it going to be nighttime out soon? Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. So all these machines are pretty much the same, but if we look over here, I have 2 chemical infusers now, both of which I have full upgrades in, both energy and speed. And they're both running pretty continuously. And the reason I did this is because Brink messaged me, and I talked about this the other day, but I didn't actually act on it at all, except for adding like 1 electrolytic separator. But he told me he needed a lot, and he also had multiple chemical infusers. So I went and made 3 electrolytic separators, and you guys definitely can hear that. You must be able to now. But I made 2 electrolytic separators extra for the brine, and I made 1 extra for the water, turning it into oxygen and hydrogen. And so all of these are fully upgraded, and they're not even fully, they're not constantly running. So, you know, I don't even know if we need all 3 yet, but when we get it to 2 times multiplier on the temperature, we might need 3 constantly running, but they all have speed upgrades, they all have energy upgrades. And it's pretty nice down here because if I want to add more electrolytic separators on either side, all I have to do is drop the floor down, and for the most part, all the cables and things can just be extended down. The cables, the gas, all that can just be run down. I don't need to worry about, you know, intertwining any cables. All of that is done up here. So yeah, the water can just be pumped down. The only thing that might need to be changed is the brine. That would have to go lower on this corner over here. It need to be brought down. But other than that, the setup is pretty nice, and I did make a carpenter's hatch. And along with the carpenter's hatch, I made a carpenter's door for over here, and that is on the off chance that I actually need to get back in here. I was worried about it being a little difficult to get up here with my jetpack, but if we come back here, do I have a torch? No, okay, we won't worry about the light levels back here, but back here is where all the intertwining happens yet again, I don't really think there's any way to avoid this, and I actually would not know how to run 3 chemical infusers if I wanted them to actually be showing on the front, because the minute I go to stack one more on top of this, then I have to power this one somehow, and it uses every other face. So we're going to stick with 2 for now. They're not even constantly running. They're almost constantly running. So I think we're okay for now. We don't need a third one, even though I did make a third one. And then we just have the storage for hydrogen chloride. Eventually, I'd like to get a second gas tank here that can probably be put right here, so that I'll have 2 sets of buffers for this, just because whenever I run out of something, it's never oxygen now. It's always the hydrogen chloride, because look at how slowly this is produced. This is produced that slowly with speed upgrades in both these chemical infusers that are running almost constantly. They both have full energy and speed upgrades in them. So it's a little rough, but what we're probably going to need more of is, I don't want to say it, but we might need another solar evaporation plant eventually, because if the 2 times temperature multiplication doesn't help enough, then there's really nothing else we can do for that, assuming 18 is the max height, which I'm almost positive it is. And it looks like it is nighttime out because we are no longer getting brine. So none of this stuff is going to be running anymore, but that's pretty much all the changes that I've made to the base. I'm thoroughly enjoying Mechanism right now, as you guys can probably tell, but I do want to do some work outside on the factory. I'm just lacking inspiration, and I don't want to start something until I understand fully what I want to do. So we might continue a little bit with modded stuff, but I really want to get started on that because working only in the basement is getting a little annoying. It's getting slightly cramped down here, and I want to keep this to like the techie mods. So if I want to get into like Equivalent Exchange 3, I want to put that in whatever house we're going to have upstairs. So yeah, I'm going to try and make it within the coming episodes. We should be doing some building. Sorry today's episode was so short though, guys, but I wanted to get out an episode every day. And I worked like 3 hours off camera getting all this stuff done and gathering all this stuff for it. So it was a lot of work today, but it just wasn't much to show for it because I obviously did all of this yesterday. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, feel free to give it a like. It helps me out a lot. As always, in the comments too, let me know if you guys are enjoying the daily videos. You guys seem to be. And I think it's really nice that, I'm able to put out daily content. You guys actually enjoy watching it. That's fun. It feels good. And I'm really enjoying playing around with the guys on the server. I think they're enjoying it too. So you should go check out their channels in the description. Great guys. And I'll talk to you guys later.